Hey, welcome back to the DVD Bunker. I'm Brian. It's Matt.
I'm Brian.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, buddy.
How do you like my shirt?
Let me see here. Oh,
Purple.
yeah.
I don't know, the people at home can't see it. This is my new House of
that.
TUFF shirt. Jeannine, once again, coming through, G9 Design on
good,
TeePublic. Awesome. Well, I did a new order of shirts because when this airs, I think we will be 1 week away from going to Philly. TUFF goes to Philly.
Yes.
So if people didn't know, we will be at the Philly Wizard World Comic-Con hanging out with the TUFF people. We're coming together from all across America to meet up in person. We're all just been digital personalities. I'm going to have to admit to these people that I'm not really a rich person. Like I
like you
on
put
the
yourself
internet, play
on.
myself out like the internet.
The fancy chair.
Right, the big fancy chair, the belt.
Stuff.
I mean, you think of the gold, all that. Yeah, I mean, you would think, they're about to learn some harsh lessons.
Mm-hmm, for sure. I will say, though, you just reminded me, I meant to bring this up and totally spaced it. The 8th of May is the day you sent me the text saying, do you want to do an internet
So
it's
we've
been
like
that 2 days
on.
ago. It's been a year since the wheels started turning. So
yep.
I meant to bring it up, and I forgot. And you just jogged my memory. The perfect
since
time.
The seed was planted.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
way to go. 1 year strong here.
So what we do here on the DVD Bunker, anybody who is new to the show or just maybe forgets from time to time, we look at movies that I haven't watched in a long time. I have this huge collection, and I buy these thinking like, oh, I'm clearly going to be coming back to this all the time, and then they sit for like a decade. Like this movie, this is King Arthur. It came out in 2004. This is supposed to be the untold true story.
Okay.
So it's
what
kind
really
of like,
happened.
Right, and like historians have kind of like, there's, obviously, this going this far back, there's a lot of discrepancies. But historians do think there was a King Arthur who kind of united the tribes of old Britain, which is like basically like primitive. I mean, this is even like by comparison, like the Romans and the Egyptians were way out in front. These people were like just freshly out of the caves and like living in some mud huts and stuff. Now, I think they make it a little more civilized in this movie, but I do think there's some savages in this movie too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But this is supposed to kind of chronicle that of like how a real Arthur might have kind of united Britain.
No Merlin casting spells.
I think there's a Merlin, but I think, like I said, I think he's more of like a tribe's chief or something kind of thing. Like what's the more realistic version of
Leonardo
what that
da Vinci
might be?
kind of character, kind of guy.
Yeah,
more of an
something like
inventor
that.
than
There
a
you go.
magician.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So we mentioned Clive Owen stars as King Arthur. This is 2004. This is like peak. When everybody thought Clive Owen was going to be the next big thing, Closer, he was in that, which is a good movie.
Yeah.
But then he did like Shoot 'Em Up and some other stuff, and he just fell off really fast. I love him, and he's like my favorite part of Sin City.
Oh, yeah.
He's so good in that. I was really bummed out that they didn't bring him back. Like, I get it that Dwight's supposed to have a different face. That's the whole thing with that character. But I still think, and then they picked Josh Brolin. It's like, well, if you're going to pick a guy with a different face, maybe you can pick somebody with an actually, like, really different face.
Like the other.
In black and white, Josh Brolin and Clive Owen look pretty damn similar.
That's probably Josh Brolin's comeback is probably what buried Clive Owen, really.
Man. Well, and then they botched the end of that Sin City sequel even worse because they do, at the very end, have Josh Brolin in, like, makeup trying to make him look like Clive Owen in the first movie. I was like, you could have at least brought Clive Owen in for a cameo in that moment, right? Like...
And they also brought Joseph Gordon-Levitt to make him look more like Bruce Willis in that movie. It was like, I had no idea who
Bruce Willis was in it, but they just brought him in too. Like, whatever.
Like, we did such a good job on Looper with the makeup.
That's the only thing people like about Looper is that stupid makeup. So that's not true. People love that movie. Yeah. I don't, but people do.
It's got magic and time travel.
That's the thing. It's fucking cluttered. Why does your movie have both? You don't even have the time travel part right, and you're throwing in magic powers too. No, we're not doing it. That dude's directing the next Star Wars movie. The Star Wars movie that I am anticipating this year, that guy is directing it. I'm not ready for that. I think that's about it. You said you think you've seen this, but you don't really remember.
I don't remember. No, but the internet obviously has been clamoring for King Arthur. They say, let's
back in a
give
big
it
way.
to us.
Back in a big way.
And I like that. So somebody wants it. Maybe it's just us and Guy Ritchie are the only three.
That might be it. Real quick, how do you feel about Sword in the Stone?
The cartoon?
The animated one.
Ooh, I don't even know if I remember that. I remember watching it as a child, but I don't remember anything.
I really like it. I think it's one of the better Disney movies, and I think that is part of what hurts other adaptations, too. It's like, it's got to be as good or better than that. And even though that's a cartoon, it's just like so etched in everybody's mind.
Absolutely.
And that's one other one, like Disney movie, tight, like 80 minutes. You know what I mean?
Always.
It's really strong, really strong. I just watched it. Okay, let's go watch this one.
Let's do it.
All right, we're back. And I think I owe Matt an apology for 2 weeks in a row now, picking, a long one. And this is the extended cut. And I feel like, I don't remember the theatrical cut, but I feel like you could easily trim like 40 minutes out of this. So that means that the theatrical cut was too long also, then they made an extended cut.
You're right. Like 50. Has ever a story needed a director's cut less
right.
than the... Yeah, because you will watch... it's like 15 minutes I checked on what you get extra, but really, you're right. 45 minutes less on this movie.
Easy. Well, like, first of all, it's so thick with plot in like the first 30 minutes, right? I'll try to like just jam, but I'll just try to like kind of get the basis down for the story here. So the idea is that this is about 1,000 years before the Arthurian legends are like written down. So this is the Roman Empire has basically, this is like the border of their lands, the very farthest most Britain, and they got these lands by defeating the Sumerians, Sarmatians,
Sarmatians.
And there was like these fierce warriors, and because they were so impressed by what fierce warriors these people were, they conquered them, but then they like made them knights. But, double-edged sword type thing, they also came and took their sons and made them knights. So like
forever,
every generation you had to give up your sons for 15 years to come and serve the Roman army, and that was like part of the deal. So Arthur is a Roman but born in Britain. So he was born in these outlands. But he's Roman, of Roman descent, and then his knights, all the knights are these Sarmatians. They're all these, like, kids who are basically slaves. They're basically warrior slaves.
From a deal that was made, like, centuries ago.
Right,
warrior
like generations before they were even born. So they're all there kind of, not of their own free will. But Arthur, despite being Roman, grows up kind of noble. He like follows the teachings of this guy. Was it Pelagius?
Yeah, Pelagius.
Who is more about like understanding and not
quality of men.
Quality of men, and not about this is the time when the Roman Empire was pushing Christianity, and it's all about we're servants from God and we're better than you, and the Pope and all this is all on that. So he kind of leads this group, and they become these like ultimate badasses, basically. Then they're all about to be freed. The whole, and then the guy who's supposed to free them comes to give them their papers to say you're free men. But of course, there's one last suicide mission to go on. Yeah. And so that's where like the actual kind of plot of the movie kicks off from. But like seriously, that is like 30 minutes to get us to that point, to get us through everything. Now, I do want to talk about the knights.
Oh yeah.
We do get our first big scene. They give him an intro when like this bishop or whoever's coming into town, his caravan gets attacked, and the knights show up to save him. Now, I didn't realize watching it until watching it this time that every spot on the roster here, there's 7 knights, including Arthur, is filled with somebody who is now like more famous than Clive Owen.
It's absolutely true. Or Lancelot, the guy who plays Lancelot too.
The two people who are the leads, Ian Griffith and Clive Owen, are now the 2 least famous people in this movie. So we have Bors. He's played by Ray Winstone. He's from The Departed. He's I think he's in the Robert Zemeckis Beowulf movie. I think he plays Beowulf, the one where he's like CGI. Computer generated one. He actually plays Beowulf in that. Right. But a very famous character actor. I think we'll actually end up foregoing character corner this because there wasn't, besides these main players, there wasn't really much else in the movie. A lot of nobodies. So you got Bors. Joel Edgerton from Warrior and directed The Gift and is just awesome.
He directed that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one.
It's so good, too. He plays Gawain.
Yeah.
And these are all our actual knights from the Arthurian legend. Yeah. I'm not as familiar. I know Lancelot and Arthur and Galahad. Those are like the ones I've heard the most. Speaking of Galahad, that's Hugh Dancy, who played Will Graham on Hannibal, which is a super underrated show. It only ran 3 seasons.
Oh,
it's
that's right.
awesome.
He's the police officer.
He's the main
that's
guy.
Right.
He's like the main
Holy
character.
Shit.
Yeah, and then that leads us right into Tristan, who's Mads Mikkelsen, who was just in Doctor Strange, was just in Rogue One. And so, yeah, you got basically the 2 leads of Hannibal on this.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even think of that.
And then he was Tristan, and then Ray Stevenson plays
yes.
Dagonet, my personal favorite Punisher.
Unfortunately, he didn't punch any through a hole through Ray's face in this.
But all the knights do a lot of murdering in this. They kill very efficiently when they actually get around to killing.
Yeah, during the very small amount of this movie that is
fighting. Actually fighting, and yeah. They send the knights, Arthur and the knights, on this impossible suicide mission to go rescue these Roman citizens from like the bad side of the wall.
Yeah.
They have lands. They're gonna go get them. The Romans are leaving the area. They're like pulling out. The whole thing is now, the knights, not only are you not free and you go on the suicide mission, but this land you've been fighting to defend for 15 years, now we're just giving up on it. We're bailing out anyway. There's a Saxon horde. That's what they call Vikings here. They're calling them the Saxons. They're Vikings, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess so.
I don't know. They look
They look like Vikings. The show Vikings and the bald guy, they look the same. Those two.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, absolutely.
That's good enough for this
Good
show.
enough for me. Consider that fact checked as far as we're concerned. So, they're supposed to go save this Roman citizen before the Saxons come in and kill everyone and steal and rape and pillage. Although, when we're introduced to the Saxons, these are a special brand of non-raping Viking here. That's why that's the difference. Saxons don't do as much raping.
Well, it's about the purity of the
right,
white
there's a
race.
white power.
Like,
They
do have that moment.
Stellan Skarsgård has a nice little white power message in this one.
Yeah, he does.
Something about if we breed with these people, what would the offspring bear or something. It's very, it was a little uncomfortable.
And I will say, though,
makes him a valid bad guy, though, right off the bat.
He's great, and I will say, if his hair in this movie, all the way down, this is how I would look in real life if I could get. I think I could get it there, but it's the most beautiful. The
just
braids
luxurious,
and the beard. It's all so very beautiful. It's a wonderful hair.
And I think we agreed that he carries it pretty well. He's pretty intimidating. I don't know how popular the Viking trench coat was, but he rocks that in this movie, so he's looking real good.
I really think
I thought he looked a lot like a Highlander, personally.
I really thought he was channeling like Prince from Purple Rain, because the lower half of the outfit and just the way he was he whispers
walks,
too.
The way he carries himself. He kind of has this kind of sideways.
It's real sexual too.
I think he's playing it down though. I think that's his whole thing, because in the end, when it's time for him to actually do something, I think he wants people to kind of underestimate him.
I think you're right. He really is kind of an asshole during most of this movie. I just feel like he's kind of an asshole because...
Talking about Arthur?
Yeah, Arthur, because he's just kind of doing this whole thing for Rome, and he's just like, we fight. That's what I really think, that he's sad that the group gang's about to break up, that all he knows is fighting, so he's like, let's just all die together.
One last death wish.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's why he does it. He could have said fuck you to that bishop, but he didn't. I think
that's true.
He's trying to keep the gang together.
Well, it works. So they finally get on the road, and this is where we really got into the Lord of the Rings, the road to Helm's Deep
parts
or whatever. Right. The walking,
just constant talking about nothing through forests. Like, they don't sing poems about people like us. Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. There's a lot of just jabberjawing between Guinevere and Lancelot. It's like, okay. Did you, at any moment, did you buy the love triangle thing at all? I feel like they're trying to get it in there because it's part of the legend. But, first of all, it didn't even make sense for Guinevere to get into Arthur this fast.
Yeah,
We're talking about, a course of a couple days, and, that's a trope that I feel like we've kind of just barely started to get away from, where it's 2 days of running for your life is not enough time for people to fall in love and bang. It's not Terminator rules here. That's not going to cut it. But, and then we're supposed to believe that also she kind of has maybe feelings for Lancelot, or maybe they're just, kindred spirits or something.
They have these moments together, but then, and then she just bangs. They never talk about it. They never do anything other than,
I feel like that was only in there just because it's part of the legend. You know what I mean?
And it really is hard to nail down what is extended in this movie, too, because you're the stuff you said.
Wait. I mean, when Boar's wife has her song in the middle, come on.
I don't think that was when you said it, I was like, yeah, he's right. After seeing the entirety of the movie, I think you had to keep it because there's a lot of stuff I would have hacked out before that.
Like maybe Dagonet and that kid, like the relationship they tried to build with that. How do you feel about that? I mean, I guess they're just trying to give him a little character development. They're trying to give every night a little something to do, I guess. But as soon as he said goodbye to that kid, though, as soon as they like decide to make their stand when the Vikings are coming up, they're on the ice. The ice river. As soon as he said goodbye and the kid's going off, I was like, "Oh, you're dead. You're going. That's it for you, buddy.
You're definitely dead."
So, how do we feel about their kind of twist on the Arthurian legend as far as the Sword and the Stone part goes?
It was so dumb. I really like. Why? He says I was gonna kill you. First of all, out of nowhere, a flaming cart is just inexplicably just flying through the battlefield.
Yeah,
it hits his sister as well.
We find out like when they're trying to decide when they're trying to like Merlin and Arthur are trying to like make peace to fight the Saxons. We find out that Merlin like attacked Arthur's village when he was a kid, and his mom died in the attack.
Yeah,
and so like. The way he gets the sword, I like this part of it. I like that he goes to his father's. It's actually buried in his father's grave mound, and he goes and he pulls it out of his father's grave. I can see how that, like the story of a kid who grew up to become a badass, who pulled his sword out of his father's grave, how that could like perpetuate and become the Arthurian legend,
like something out of stone.
But like just the way the scene is set up of like. Your family is burning, so you run to get a sword.
Yeah, and then he just stands there with the sword while they die. Well, he doesn't hit anybody with it. He doesn't do anything.
He doesn't even do that thing like where he runs up on Merlin and Merlin just knocks him down. You know what I mean? Like,
or maybe he gets one guy from behind or something and doesn't move on something. No, and like why is this cart on fire just flying through the battlefield? Like what happened? At least I mean for all the
was that like a I don't know, like a terrorist attack by Merlin? Like that
just
was
running, light it on fire,
push it into the middle of town.
And then I think about that stuff, and I think for all the bullshit that they left in this movie, why not give us? There's another part later where something happens, and now I'm just like, wait, what? How did that happen? And it's like all the shit in this movie of just people walking like, oh, we're friends. Oh, you're Arthur. Oh, we've heard stories of you. It's like,
oh yeah, everybody knows who Arthur is. Arthur's already a legend in this world. Everybody's heard of him. The Vikings are coming. They're trying to get this transport going, so they decide to make a stand on this big ice sheet. This is our first action sequence since the beginning of the movie. They have one fight at the beginning to establish everybody as kind of badasses.
It's like an hour
and 20 minutes is when this ice sheet scene happens.
I noticed that too.
And it's more of like a tactical kind of thing.
Battle.
It's not really a battle, you know. It's more of like a kind of suspense tactical. And you know, Dagonet gets to have his big sacrifice of himself and save everyone, but he dies. He's Boromir's out, takes a couple arrows.
He Boromir's, and he's like, and the plan he has is, I mean, I guess it's kind of awesome just to smash that, the way he smashes that ice, but it is kind of like, I think you're just going to kill everybody around, because he's right in the middle, and everyone's just going to die in the ice. But it was awesome when he did that.
It was a cool scene. And
see Punisher just smashing.
Yeah, he looked like it was badass, for sure.
Yeah, it was cool.
So that buys him enough time to get away and get back to... Everybody kind of makes it back to the wall.
Yeah.
And we have a long, drawn-out funeral for Dagonet. And we have the son, Stellan Skarsgård's son. There's a little father-son dynamic with him and his son. And, like, I think, again, that might be extended shit, because I feel like that's kind of...
Exactly.
It's like a lot
Well, now we're already,
excess,
28 minutes of extended footage.
I'm like, I didn't really need all this.
That's when he's at his most Prince, too, because he's kind of, like, sitting sideways.
Yeah, he does kind of lean over, and
he's got, like a spread eagle thing.
Agreed.
Oh, good times.
So Arthur has kind of like lost his faith in Rome now, you know, after this whole excursion and this whole thing, and they're leaving. Does Guinevere bang him into staying?
Yeah, it seems like she's like, well, I don't know what'll happen tomorrow.
Yeah, she kind of like talks to him about like how they're leaving and you're of this land and you know you were born here, and you can tell she's working him, but eventually she just comes and bangs him.
Yeah, she's just
and
like,
then he's in it to win. And it's like the next scene he goes to tell his boys like, you're gonna have to go on without me, guys.
You know, Guinevere said technically I'm British because I was born here, so we're all the same, right? I know you guys are involuntary servants, bound by a contract your ancestors made, but we're pretty much the same.
So he decides to stay, and everybody basically bails out. Like, they get everybody out of there. All the Romans leave. Even the knights leave. You know, everybody's gone, and it's just going to be Arthur's going to kind of lead the wolves and try to stop the Saxons.
Yeah.
But yeah, certain doom, basically. I like the parlay with Stellan Skarsgård. You know, I like that. I like that little moment. That's cool. I noticed it throughout the movie, but I want to. They never draw specific attention to it, but it's always present as Excalibur.
Yeah.
Arthur's sword looks good.
Yeah.
Always shined up real nice.
They do some stuff where he holds up, for sure, but they don't do it too. They're not too heavy.
I agree. They don't overdo it. There's a couple times where he's got it like in somebody's face or under their chin, and it's like it's kind of a nice shot of the sword, but they don't. Yeah, they don't linger. Yeah. They don't linger.
Yeah.
Big surprise here. The knights come back to help Arthur.
This is the dumbest part of the movie. Are we going to talk about
the horses?
Yeah, why? What makes them have their fucking change of heart? Okay, so they're just fucking riding away to Helm's Deep or where they're going with the people, and then all of a sudden, like, wind blows, and the horses start fucking getting scared, and they're rubbing the horses, and then they just look at each other. I mean, this is the longest fucking 8 minutes of just staring at each other, looking around. Then they're just there with Arthur. Like, they don't do anything else.
Do you remember? Let's go back all the way back. All the way back to the very first scene, okay?
Well, they talk about the horse.
Right. It's Lancelot's dad when the Romans come to take him away to become a slave warrior. Lancelot's dad tells him that knights, dead knights, come back as great as the horses of knights, horses of knights. So when they're riding away, they hear the drums start, and the horses start flipping out because the horses want to go back to battle because they're the knights. They are knights, and then it calls back at the very end too over the final monologue. Arthur's final monologue after the 3 or 4 endings. It's like some horses running in a field. So
yeah,
it's like
I remember that being the thing.
Right.
Like, that's their legend.
But you're absolutely right. Like, it's this, like, the horses, and they pet them, and then they look up at each other, and they're just kind of like, and then they just cut to, Arthur was up on the hill in his full regalia, which means they had to go armor up their horses. Their horses are wearing armor. There's no way. It took less than an hour to get all those guys into their armor and the horses and shit. So Arthur just stood up there?
It really just seemed like it happens 5 minutes after, because they're doing stuff with Stellan Skarsgård and all their people.
Right,
and they're just, it's like one, and then all of a sudden they're just...
Well, I do like that element of it where it's like the Saxons roll up and it's basically all you see is Arthur up on the hill, and they're like, oh, it's just one man. And then they have the parlay and he goes back, and then it's like instantly there's like 7 of them then, and they're just like, all the Vikings are just kind of like, shit.
Yeah, but that part really bothered me, and I guess not still knowing the horse thing. That doesn't make.
I didn't say
better.
It wasn't stupid. I'm just trying to
And it certainly wasn't Frank Castle in one of those horses because he said, "No, we're not fucking going back. I already got killed once because of that asshole." Trying to keep the gang together for one last tour.
I will say, Clive Owen tries to give a Braveheart speech here. Not even close.
No.
He's not Maximus Decimus Meridius. No. He's not William Wallace. I mean, hey, I get it. I'm sorry, you just didn't hack it. It's fine,
And him and Lancelot are honestly the least interesting people in this whole movie. I feel by a lot,
Well, that is probably proportional to the amount of boring speeches you have to listen to. You get both of them drone on and on to each other, to Guinevere, to other people around them. Exactly. Like I said, I like that dynamic of him and Lancelot, but there's too much of it. Yeah. It's like they could have tightened that up a lot.
Absolutely.
So now we're at 1 hour and 48 minutes, and we're finally getting into our final battle here.
Yeah.
They do the thing where they take
fight
out
smart.
a small group, right? They fight smart. They're using smoke. They're luring in traps. They're doing, battlefield tactics, lighting fires to separate people. This, that, and the other. It's all well and good. Nothing I haven't seen before, though.
Yeah, and
nothing really original. They got some catapults throwing fireballs. They got arrow. You got archers. There's just not. There's a lot of solid, Braveheart style battling going on here, but it's just that you've seen it in every movie, and you've seen it in better movies. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely true. And Stellan Skarsgård really, his character fucking blows it because he knows that it's a trap, sends guys in to test the trap.
The
Those
trap
guys
goes
get
off,
murdered,
they get murdered.
and then he just goes, now we go in together. It's like,
And he goes in first. Now, I will say that. I like that about him, though.
Yeah.
He leads
Oh,
the
yeah.
charge on that second. So, like, okay, all right, I guess you owned it.
Like,
but, yeah, agreed. That's terrible battle tactic there.
Yeah, like
It's
he
awful.
called it. He was right. And then he just
Yeah.
ignored it and went in and died.
Well, and then so, you're having our big fights, and, you got people pairing off like you do in an action movie.
Yep,
Guinevere
yep.
gets to have a fight with Stellan Skarsgård's son, and Lancelot gets in on some of that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that they sacrificed Tristan, who's Mads Mikkelsen, to make Stellan Skarsgård a credible threat. Because, like you said, he's basically just been hedonism bot the whole thing. He's just lying around.
Yeah.
And he's all kind of like sneering. And even at the this very first scene, his son kind of challenges him a little bit, So, like, you get the impression that maybe he's kind of in his decline a little, Tristan, on the other hand, we established is the most badass of all the knights, right?
Without a doubt.
I mean, best swordsman, best archer.
He's Legolas.
The top, right? Yeah, he's top of the heap.
He fight the number 3 guy who becomes number 2 when the sun fails, who's supposed to be a badass. You never see him fight. Tristan kills him in one move. That guy comes in to protect Stellan Skarsgård. One move, he's dead.
Yeah. But they kind of sacrifice him to make Stellan Skarsgård look
a bummer.
Ultra badass. I like the fight, though.
Yeah.
I actually think the fight between him and Tristan is better than the fight between him and Arthur.
Absolutely.
Because, like, he kills Tristan, and that's a really good... It kind of reminded me of when Batman fights Bane in Dark Knight Rises. He's just kind of toying with him at the end, and stuff. And it's just like, I really like that. But then, like, it kind of deflates the fight with Arthur because it's shot differently. I don't know what it is about the camera work they use in that final fight and stuff. I just didn't like it at all. I was really unhappy. I was like, man, this is bumming me out.
Yeah, you're right, and it does. It like kind of ruins the fight at the end because, first of all, you're like, wait, Mads Mikkelsen's not the hero of this movie. Because
Merlin just like declares him king of Britain.
Yeah, that seemed a little.
I was like, okay, that word got to Rome, and Rome was like, oh, the Saxons? Turn around, we're going back.
Oh yeah, we're still in charge. Yeah, you beat those guys.
Just come in and smoke all the wolves and everything. Just bring the whole legion up and just like, we took care of them quick.
You're right, and then he says
just
something.
Like, you're king, I guess.
And then he says he's going to dedicate himself to the cause. He doesn't say what the cause means. I think we're supposed to mean equality. They're not going to get too heavy-handed, though. I mean, it's still 5th century,
right. Well, and Britain did become a monarchy. I mean, it's not like it was.
Yeah, it wasn't like
democracy reigned.
Yeah, there was still like 1,000 years of feudalism in store for these people. So let's not get it mixed.
At least
let's not get it mixed up here.
Well, and this is they're just about to start into the Dark Ages.
Exactly.
If Rome's pulling out, that means Rome hasn't quite fallen yet. That's about to happen. So things are only going downhill for these people.
Yeah.
No wonder these became legends, because after 1,000 years of the Dark Ages, they were like, do we remember anything good that happened? Like, one time a dude killed some other dudes. Oh, that's our hero of all time.
He did it. He had a bunch of buddies. They killed lots of bad guys.
They killed all sorts of guys. That's my guy.
That's our guy. Yeah.
So like I said, probably no character corner, just because, I mean, this cast is so good. I was literally, when I realized who everybody was, I was like, I'm going to have to give this a goodbye just based on the cast alone. So, like, it's character movie this time. Like, everybody in this movie went on to bigger and better things except Clive Owen and Jan Griffith.
Yeah, unfortunately. But, maybe we can bring her back. Here's
Clive
what I
Owen's
think.
still doing okay. I mean, he's not doing too bad.
Here's what I think is, this is the way I do this. This movie comes out now, it's got a lot better shot because of Game of Thrones and things like that, and Mads Mikkelsen being
but this
like
is
a
hot
complete
off of
star.
Lord of the Rings.
I know. Well, they're saying we're going to do the R-rated Lord of the Rings, but it has all the worst Lord of the Rings stuff. It doesn't have any of the cool fantasy or like different. It's just all the white guys who weren't in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and all the action. It's like it's got the same like spread out time constraints. But they didn't remember to put in action beats through most of it. It's.
And it makes the actually the end seem kind of long because you're like, oh my gosh, why aren't they going
like
somewhere
I said, and
talking?
they didn't give us anything new we hadn't seen before either. They didn't give us any kind of like something really cool. Like, I mean, I liked your Battlefield Tactics and they worked. That was cool, but I've just seen everything.
Yeah.
I've seen it all.
So what I say is take this. This was a financial success. I can't believe it made like $80 million. But anyway, you take this, you cut it down to an hour long. and then it becomes a pilot for like a Showtime series about like King Arthur, and because Clive Owen's up for it now.
True.
You know, I don't know about, you're not gonna be able to get Mads Mikkelsen, but he's dead.
He's
he dies
dead,
the
exactly.
pilot,
He's
exactly.
dead, yeah,
so you use all the star power. You might be able to get Joel Edgerton in there.
You know, I don't know what Hugh Dancy's up to.
Though.
I don't know what Hugh Dancy's up to.
And you put this on Showtime. It's kind of like the alternative.
Well, you
to
just
Game
do a
of Thrones.
miniseries too. You just do. You don't. It doesn't have to be an ongoing show. It could be 6 episodes, and then when everybody's available, you can do 6 more. Or you can do a new, a new crew.
Exactly. But I like the idea of telling. This is like LXG to me because it is like I like the ideas of this movie, but
I like seeing real world versions of the Arthurian Knights. I don't mind this backstory. I like this era for them.
Yeah,
you know?
And you see also that like based on their travels and stuff, their armor and stuff, it kind of has like a Japanese influence from different countries and cultures and stuff like that. Like they've seen so much shit.
Well, yeah, they couldn't have the the old knight with the big helmet and everything. That just wasn't era appropriate. So like Arthur's is more Roman because he's like the leader guy, so he's got the big headgear. But that's, I think Mads Mikkelsen has a more kind of Eastern, Mongolian almost look to it. Like
I would, and I don't think he could have done it because they would have called foul in the Braveheart, which already this movie is getting a flag. But I would have liked to see him to take off the Roman garb and don a more like British thing to show like I'm a Brit. And they don't really hit it hard in the movie.
Some kind of or maybe a mix of his Roman armor with something from the wolves, or maybe paint him up. You couldn't paint him up. You can't paint him up. You can't do
that speech either. No. You can't do any of that stuff.
I couldn't do it. Fair enough. All right, so are we ready to rate this bad motherfucker?
Yeah. So for me, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Because and maybe if it was, I feel like even if it wasn't the director's cut, it's just there's so much.
There's no way that, as far as I'm concerned, there's no way that the theatrical cut didn't have way too much shit in it too.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I said, if they only added 15 minutes, and we feel like there's 40 minutes you could cut out, that means the regular cut was too long.
So,
I feel like there's a tight action movie in here. I feel like there's an Antoin Fuqua movie. Now, granted, Magnificent Seven was like that too. It was like 2+ hours,
and that's fine. I can get into it because we watched a 2-hour movie last week where I was into it all the way to the end.
And I really like Magnificent Seven. I think it has more to do. I don't know what it is about this one. It's just the in between stuff, the character stuff just didn't grab me. Like it didn't.
Yeah, I think the first like few minutes when we see them all together fight together, we learn their little skills. We learn that they're brothers. That's good enough for me. You know what I mean? Like
you could have just jumped straight into the mission from there.
Yeah, because I already loved Boars. You already love Mads Mikkelsen. All these guys, you already like them.
I think you probably literally could have just gone from that to the Saxons attacking.
Yeah, you pick up that guy, and then you hit it.
Maybe not even pick up that guy. I don't even think you necessarily need that.
Yeah, so you gotta just figure out a way. Yeah, you don't even do the whole your last mission shit. You just have the Saxons invade.
Do something more with the bishop and Plagueis being killed and that being hidden. Have that be like the in-between battle stuff. Have that be the internal turmoil that's going on behind the wall, and you got the Saxons on the other side of the wall attacking. With regular, you're holding them back, but they keep pushing. Make it more like a siege movie, I guess.
Yeah, exactly right. And I will say, there's a lot of GR. Besides Tolkien, there's a lot of G.R.R. Martin in this too. So. Well, the wall, especially, there's the wall dividing line, and then the look and stuff of the wolves is kind of has some of the same descriptions as that stuff too. So yeah, it takes. But for me, there's just like you said, there's good stuff in there, but it's so.
If a cast could save a movie, this would be the one. Like I've never seen a movie cast so well, that was just such a disappointment, unfortunately. Like
you're absolutely right.
There's a couple good action beats, but they're not enough to save it, not even close. Yep. You know what I mean? It's just so long and boring, and like I said, even if it wasn't the extended cut, I feel like we would have that.
And I cared about Lancelot, and during this fucking hike, I stopped giving a shit about him so that when he did die, I didn't care. I was so upset about Mads Mikkelsen.
I was mad with him when Arthur was like, no, we have this one last mission. It's like, I was with him, but like you said, you just kind of lose interest, and then by the time he dies, just like, nah, all right, whatever.
Sorry you didn't get to bone that girl before you died. You were trying
took care of that love triangle pretty damn quick.
If only you knew how to fix broken fingers, you would have fucking been good.
Even in that moment when like he he helps her with her broken fingers, and then she kind of is like the Brit who kills his own people. I felt like she wanted to bang him there. I thought she was into him. I was like,
a little repartee.
Yeah, I was like, you're just laying some groundwork there. It's called pillow talk, baby. All right, unfortunately, that's goodbye, King Arthur.
So hopefully Guy Ritchie can save us this year.
Bring it back. Well, my expectations literally could not be lower for that movie. If I ever even bother to see it, it'll only be because I heard so many people tell me it's better than you expected. I would have to hear everybody who saw it would have to be like, it's actually pretty good. You'd be surprised. Good.
I will say this though, if I find out that the scene where he pulls the sword out of the stone or whatever it is isn't directly to fight a fire, I don't want to fucking hear about it. Because we know that's what swords were meant to do.
You cut a fire with them. That's what swords are for. Fire. All right, well, let us know what you think in the comment section below. Tell us if you want to see Guy Ritchie's movie, if that was any good, if you remember this one at all. Subscribe to the TUFF channel, like this video, go watch other videos, watch OSP, watch BFF, Fan Friction, and definitely, if you're in a drivable distance, come to Philly first weekend of June, party it up. Me and Matt like to get down, Drunksman style, so
exactly.
Come visit, come hang.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.